Hi, this is Mark Nedgeron from Newsweed.com. Today is July 22nd, 2021, and I've got a few news stories that I want to share with you. And I've got a friend in the room that's going to make a comment, particularly about race relations, but not yet. I'll get to him in a second. Today, Jen Psaki held a press conference. Gina Raimondo from the Commerce Department was there to present a $3 billion e-commerce, not e-commerce, but economic development program. She emphasized that women would be focused on, people of color, people in rural communities, and tribes. Once again, our government is focusing on those that are supposedly downtrodden, but maybe some of the support that they give them might be a little bit kind of centered around excluding other people, which is totally wrong. Matter of fact, I'm here with an ex-sailor from Korean War or World War II? Korean War, who once was on a ship, and he had a comment to say regarding race relations. What was that, Frank?
I was nothing but a guinea and a wop. As far as that, what year was that?
All right, I don't know, whatever year it was.
1950.
So you're saying you were
53.
1953. So you're saying that you were nothing but a guinea and a wop to one of your officers on a boat. You were painting the side of the boat.
Right.
He insisted.
He called me up and said, "You gotta wash it again, you guinea wop." I says, "I'm not a guinea wop," and we started a fight.
Right.
And I got reported to the captain's mast for striking an
officer.
And I explained to the captain, my father and mother were born here, and I was born here, so I said, I'm not a guinea and a wop, and we started a fight.
Right. So was he white? Was that guy white?
Oh, yeah, white.
So the guy was white, and he called you a guinea and a wop.
A southerner.
A southerner.
The most hateful people in the world. They hate everybody.
Right.
It's not a place, maybe today, but yesteryear it was not.
So yesteryear, the southern guy calls you a guinea and a wop, tells you to paint the side of the building. You say no. You start fighting with him, and then you said, "You call me a guinea and a wop, so I'm going to argue with you. I'm going to fight with you." Yeah. So it seems to me, I mean, the reason I asked you that, Frank, I mean, we're sharing a hospital room together, is because I think that all people that are different are going to have differences between themselves, and times changed. I don't hear anybody being called a guinea and a wop anymore. Thank God.
No.
Wonderful people. We've adopted everybody into our country, and we can't just have the government focusing on people and saying, well, you got to give them more, because it could hold people back. So let me get on with what happened at the meeting. Some journalists asked Gina Raimondo why the government was putting out another program when in fact we have 9 million jobs available, but we have 7 million people that are sitting home. Their numbers are being a little confusing because we had 419,000 people applying for unemployment again. So it looks like the government is not motivating people to work. She claims, well, there's an acute problem, and it's mostly because of a skills gap. And she claims that part of the $3 billion is $500 million going for apprenticeships. Now, this may go for apprenticeships and unions only. She was not specific. She was very vague and only up there for about 10 minutes. Anyway, of course we want women and people of color to succeed, and people in tribes in rural areas. We want everybody to succeed, right? So why would you just select those people that you're going to help with this program? It's offensive. Myself being half Mexican and half Arabic, Frank's Italian. It's better to fight your way up. Neither one of us are hurting now because we worked hard, and I think that's what most people have to do. Anyway, it seems like gun crime is on the uptick in this Biden administration, but President Biden is focused on crime, according to Jen Psaki, and the Crime Victims Fund. Again, the government handing out money. Masks may be back on as there are rumors that the Biden administration may implement masks if the CDC says so. On the international political front, Jen Psaki said that President Biden is against mass trials, against disappearing people, against lack of internet access, and he really wants to help and see the release of peaceful protesters. Now, the same administration, I think we all saw the videos of the June 6th walk on the Congress, and we did see people that were just standing outside and walking, but it seems anybody who participated there is being arrested and prosecuted. As a matter of fact, we lost one Air Force person who was shot, although we can't identify who shot her, and we had a DEA agent arrested and convicted for, I believe, 8 months. It's just terrible what's happening in our country. Anyway, Cuba, supposedly definitely a communist country, we're supposed to put up some sanctions against them, but there's just such conflict between, it seems like the same things are happening here, same things happen there, but it's okay to prosecute our protesters, but it's not okay to prosecute their protesters. It's a real contradiction. I think Putin brought it up when President Biden met at that summit. Anyway, Jen Psaki said they are looking to get support from the UN to collectively support actions against Cuba. Okay. On the economic front, home prices are soaring, but the Biden administration says they will help homeowners and renters who have not been paying their rent, which, of course, maybe we have a shortage of homes and other places for people to live because we've totally disregarded the whole free market system of people paying rent when they can stay home and drive the economy forward with the mortgage money and rent money that they're not spending. Anyway, President Biden is very upset that China will not cooperate with Biden's investigation of where the COVID vaccine came from. As I recall, when President Trump was in office, nobody wanted to say it was the Chinese virus or the Wuhan virus, but now he's upset that China won't let him come in and do any type of investigation. Something's not right. And when I look at Jen Psaki at these meetings, I feel offended that she's so nasty when journalists ask questions. Which, by the way, journalists, it's your fault. Anything that happens in this country is your fault. The way you treated President Trump, and now the way you're so lame in asking questions at the current press conferences, and you're not even asking the president the questions, you're asking his communications person, which to me, she sounds more like the president than the president. So it's just very upsetting to me. But maybe because I'm in a hospital. Who knows? Supposedly, the president, according to Jen Psaki, is focused on freedom of speech and freedom of press and so forth. Let's see. Anyway. Oh, his son, Hunter Biden, is selling his artwork. No big deal, right? Although, when the Trumps were in office, they had to give up their fashion companies and so forth. Well, anyway, there's big money that's going to be made on the artwork that Hunter Biden collected. I'd like to find out how he got the money to collect that. And these will be sold. Supposedly they're going to be sold to completely anonymous people. However, Hunter Biden will be at the auction. We're not supposed to know how much they paid for the art. We're not supposed to know who bought the art. Sounds like Cuba to me. Anyway, I think Jen Psaki's approach to these press conferences is nothing but arrogance and disrespectful to the freedom of the American press. And I'm insulted every time I watch her. The news conferences are completely aggressive.
That sounded good.
Biden says he wants to invite advanced voting rights. He wants to have racial equality. Well, guess what? What is wrong with someone showing their ID, or at least proving who they are before they place a vote? Because basically anyone can just vote anonymously and multiple times. Come on, people, this is not about voting rights. This is about Democrats cheating to win future elections, or whichever party. This voting rights situation, where they have thousands, millions of journalists writing about total false lies, saying that it's unfair to ask someone for their ID. Everyone in America, everyone everywhere should have an ID. That's the law. To not have it for voting is absolutely ridiculous. And if you think that it's fair, I don't know what's wrong with you. Anyway, we've had so many shootings in this country, and it's blacks shooting blacks for the majority. We have it here in Monmouth County, New Jersey, which is a fairly wealthy community, but it's blacks shooting blacks. Black Lives Matter. Prove it, please. Prove it to all of us. We want to see you safe, and we want to see you unharmed. But we cannot have people shooting each other. Chicago, blacks shooting blacks. Please. We don't want anybody hurt. Good people are being injured in your neighborhoods. Annapolis, Maryland. Young black man works hard, gets on the football team. His mother is there watching. Stray bullet strikes her, kills her. Please, people. We cannot have gangs shooting people on the street. And I'm sorry to say, fact of the matter is, it's blacks shooting blacks. Not all the time, but the majority of the time. Straighten it out in your own neighborhoods. Governor DeSantis down in Florida says he will not require any masks for kids that go to school because he wants kids to be able to be kids. I'm for that too. This mask situation is ridiculous, and we have the technology now through genomics to determine who should get a vaccine and who shouldn't get a vaccine. There are no vaccines for kids under 12. Why? Because they're not safe, most likely, because their immune system has not developed. Well, that's the news for tonight. I want to thank Frank, my roommate, for giving me some insight, because I never knew that people were prejudiced against Italian people. But it seems like people have been prejudiced against me, being Mexican and Syrian. But you know what? My mother told me, get your ass out there and get to work. And that's the only thing that brings us together, is when we work hard. Just like we see with the Hispanic people. Thanks so much. Good night. And remember, it's never as it seems.